All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Azul video. Been a while since I've recorded, but I'm hoping to get back to being a little more regular with video releases. And this is a video I've been wanting to do for a while now. That I keep trying to find examples of what I want to show in this video, and I keep either forgetting to mark it down or I don't even notice them when I'm playing. But I have two examples, so I am going to make the video with just two examples, and hopefully it'll be relatively short. So to start things off, I think since the start of this YouTube channel that I have gotten better at Azul. I think I started somewhere over here, and you can see that I was occasionally dipping out of the 700s and wasn't really very consistent. And lately, I have at least been a little bit more consistent. I still had a pretty bad dip when I played for days on end while also having the flu, which was stupid, so don't do that. But generally, I've been able to maintain like above 750 and have been, climbing into the 800s. So the topic that I want to talk about is something that I have noticed myself doing that I think has contributed to being a little bit better at the game. And that is not reacting to forcing moves right away. And in the Beginner to Master series, we talked a lot about creating forcing moves to get your opponent to react. And oftentimes it sets off a chain reaction. So you take the last of a certain color, and then, or you take the second to last of a certain color that they need. And if they take the last one, then you can do this, which does that, yada, yada, yada. And it's like really powerful, and the type of situations we want to put our opponents in. So today we are going to talk about when you are the target of a forcing move, and not instantly reacting to it. And I have two examples here. So this is a round 5 example, which is not what I would have liked ideally. I think round 5s are always a little, different. But it's one of the ones I found, so we're going to roll with it. Okay, so I'm up by 6, and it's round 5, like I said. My opponent takes 2 yellow, and this is kind of actually a forcing move for me to take 2 yellow. And in this case, like I do take 2 yellow. This is clearly the most important piece on my board. It's worth 19 points alone. And so here is where my opponent makes not quite a forcing move, but my opponent groups these 3 whites together. And so it's not completely forcing, but obviously, like, I want row 1 white. And the things that you have to look at are, first of all, how big of how forcing is it actually? And one of the first things to look at is what can your opponent do with those tiles, right? Because the thought is, okay, if I don't take them, the forcing aspect of it is that they can take them. So first we look at what happens if they take them. And if they take them, they are going, at least -4, if not -6, because they can't play whites anywhere. So that's kind of step 1, like how forcing is this move actually? And in this situation where my opponent would take -6 versus this is a 9-point play for me, actually less than 9, right? Because I take 2 negatives and the first player tile negative. So it's 9, it's 7 plus 2 for the row bonus, and then -4 is 5. So it's only a 5-point play for me to take these right now, and if my opponent were to take them right now, it's -6 for them. So in reality, this isn't that forcing. So that's step one, like how forcing is this? And then step two is, can I return the favor and like flip the tables on them? So you might notice they want row 2 black, and by not taking it earlier, they've given me the opportunity to create a group of 4 black. And the difference between me grouping these 4 blacks together and them grouping these whites together is that my move is actually pretty forcing, because I can play 4 black either in row 3 or row 4 for like 7 points, 7 or 8 points. So it's a huge swing if they don't take blacks. So if I were to take these whites, I would score, I think we talked about 5 points. They would get to take blacks on row 2 with no negatives, and they would leave 2 options for their row 3 blue. And I don't know, if they would win or not, given that I have a 6-point lead going into the round, but it would certainly be a lot closer than making the play that I ultimately make. And you can try to spot it, but I'd take 1 blue and play it on row 5. And the only goal of this move is to group these 4 blacks together. And it essentially wins me the game, because they now have to take those blacks. They think about the whites, realize it doesn't make any sense, and take the blacks. And so now, again, I can think about, okay, do I have to take these whites? And again, the answer is no, because the same thing applies. How forcing is it? Now, if they take 3 whites, that's -7 to my 7-point play. So I still go -2 to play them. And we talked about the row bonus being worth, or this tile being worth 9. So I still don't have to take these whites. And so I take a red for my row 3 to group the 2 blues that they want. They take the reds away. I realize I still don't have to play these whites because they're worth, because the negatives are worth so much. And my opponent takes the yellow, finally take the whites, and they have to play this black. So I know round 5 is like a little bit of a specific situation, but I hope that illustrates how you can think about, what appears to be a forcing move. So it's very common to see players like instantly click on the whites there without thinking it through enough. Okay, so that's one example. The next one is in a round 2 here, and we're gonna have to click through it a bit. Okay, so my opponent takes 1 black. And this is the forcing move, so to speak, where if I want to finish my blacks, I need to take this. But, and honestly, I don't think taking it is that bad, and could even be like the right play. But if I take the black, they take the white. I'd have to take 2 yellow. They get 2 red. It's not that bad. Honestly, it could be correct. But I saw another path here. And if you think about the steps that I outlined in the last game, um, the second one was like, how can you turn the tables? And so I maybe predictably turn the tables by grouping the two whites, and getting this nice row 2 yellow. And so now my opponent has to decide if they take black. Like, they basically can't take black, because it means that they wouldn't get a row 1 and a row 2. So they could take black, I would take 2 white or something, and then they would get red. I guess they could play black on row 1, but then again, they're going to be stuck on both of these. So I make the play that kind of keeps my board a little tidier, and they're in a bit of a pickle. And yeah, so they have to take reds here, which, to their credit, is good awareness from them of they don't have to react to either of these forcing moves. Like, I don't have a great place to play white. But now, I guess I take the white. No, I'm sure I take the black here. Yeah, so now I get to take the black. They take the white. I take a red. And they have to take -6 in negatives. And the result of all of this is that at the end of the round, I'm up 11-0. And like I said, maybe taking the black in that scenario is fine, but it's still good to at least look at other routes and see what is possible. I would go on to lose this game because I got way too confident in my 11-0 lead, and started playing too quickly. So learn that lesson as well. No lead is safe. Always be sharp. But yeah, I think just to sum it up, like, don't always react to forcing moves right away. Look for alternatives. That being said, as we saw in the first video, like, I did need to take those 2 yellows. So you have to understand step 1, which was how forcing is it. And so with the yellows, it was very forcing. But when the whites got grouped, it wasn't actually that forcing. So yeah, hope this was helpful. And yeah, I'll see you at the next video.